You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 1st of December. Indian Parliament's winter session begins. PM Modi urges delivery, not drama. Death toll hits 330 as Sri Lanka struggles with cyclone Ditwa. And Hasina and UK MP Tulip Siddique found guilty in Bangladesh graft case. And now for all the details. The winter session of the Indian Parliament commenced on Monday, with the government set to push key reforms, including a major bill to allow private participation in the nuclear sector. The opening day saw sharp political notes, adjournments and PM Modi urging lawmakers to prioritize delivery over drama.
As the winter session of Indian Parliament commenced on Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the media and called for ensuring delivery rather than drama. The Monday's session also marked Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan's first day as chairman of the Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha was, however, adjourned for the day after Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tabled three bills on GST, health security and excise.
आदरणीय सभापति जी, शीतकालीन सत्र का आरंभ हो रहा है और आज सदन के हम सभी माननीय सदस्यों के लिए ये गर्व की पल है। आपका स्वागत करना और आपके मार्गदर्शन में सदन के माध्यम से देश को प्रगति की राह पर ले जाने के लिए महत्वपूर्ण विषयों पर चर्चा, महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय और उसमें आपका अमूल्य मार्गदर्शन एक बहुत बड़ा अवसर हम सबके लिए है। मैं सदन की तरफ से, मेरी तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, आपका अभिनंदन करता हूं और आपको शुभकामनाएं देता हूं।
The first day of the winter session witnessed repeated adjournment amid uproar by the opposition. Lawmakers from the opposition have decided to raise several matters, including concerns linked to the special intensive revision of electoral rolls, equality, income, the Red Fort blast, Delhi pollution and foreign policy. Beyond the political exchanges, the government is also focusing on a long list of economic and financial bills. One of these is the Atomic Energy Bill 2025, which seeks to allow private investment in the nuclear power generation sector. This session, one of the shortest, will continue until December 19 with 15 sittings planned over 19 days, with less than 25% of the time allotted to the opposition.
And amid ongoing trade tensions with the United States, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar flagged the global risks for economies in today's time, stating that the politics nowadays increasingly trumps economics in an uncertain world. Speaking at IIM Calcutta after receiving as honorary doctorate, he said nations must diversify supply sources to secure their national interests in an uncertain world. Jaishankar noted that the US, once the anchor of the global system, has shifted to a one-on-one approach, while China continues to play by its own rules. US President Donald Trump earlier this year imposed a 50% tariff on Indian goods over India's purchase of Russian oil. Highlighting vulnerabilities in global supply chains, one-third of which are concentrated in China, he said conflicts and climate shocks heighten the risk of disruption. Jaishankar added that India is rapidly narrowing its infrastructure gap and is now pursuing new trade arrangements and connectivity initiatives.
This is an era where politics increasingly trumps economics, and that's not a pun. Decisions are now being made not merely on costs, but taking into account ownership and security. Where a product is made or who offers a service is as important as their price points. When de-risking overrides the logic of efficiency, the mantra of just in time actually gives place to the caution of just in case. Of course, globalization still exists because it's too far gone to be rolled back. But with powerful counter forces today brought into.
Moving on, Pakistan has reacted sharply after UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk condemned the 27th constitutional amendment, which massively expands the powers of Army Chief Asim Munir. The amendment elevates Munir to the newly created post of Chief of Defence Forces, giving him command over the Army, Navy and Air Force, while allowing him to retain his rank of Field Marshal with lifelong immunity from prosecution. His new appointment resets his tenure, enabling him to serve until 2030 with the possibility of another 5-year extension. Volker Turk warned that the amendment, like the 26th last year, was passed without public consultation and seriously undermines judicial independence, raising fears of increased military influence and executive control. The amendment also creates a federal constitutional court to handle constitutional matters, reducing the authority of the Supreme Court. Pakistan's Foreign Office rejected Turk's remarks as ungrounded and misplaced, insisting that constitutional changes are the prerogative of elected representatives. It urged the UNHRC to avoid politically biased commentary. This comes as Pakistan's Human Rights Council has condemned the arrest of 2 activists protesting against the amendment in Karachi. And the death toll from Cyclone Ditwa in Sri Lanka has risen to more than 330, with 370 still missing, officials said on Sunday, as large-scale rescue efforts continued across the country. Nearly 1 million people have been affected by the heavy rains and flooding that have swept through vast parts of the island nation, forcing around 200,000 residents into 1275 shelters, according to the country's disaster management center. Record rainfall since Thursday has triggered multiple landslides in the Central Highlands, while overflowing rivers have inundated entire town nationwide. In Colombo, among the worst-hit areas, dozens of families remain trapped inside their homes due to the rising floodwaters. Meanwhile, in a televised address on Sunday, Lankan President Anurakumara Dissanayake described the crisis as the most difficult rescue operations in the country's history.
කෙටට මුහුණ දී සිටින්නේ ඉතිහාසයේ විශාලතම සහ අභියෝගාත්මක ස්වභාවික ව්‍යසනයට බව අප දන්නවා. ඒ වගේම අප දියත් කොට ඇත්තේ මෙරට ඉතිහාසයේ අභියෝගාත්මකම ගලවා ගැනීමේ මෙහෙයුම බවත් අප දන්නවා. මේ ඉතිහාසයේ විසින් එකවර රටම ව්‍යසනයට ලක් කිරීමේ පළමු අත්දැකීම වෙනවා. රටම සතර දිග්භාගයෙන් යට වුණු සහ ආපදාවට ලක් වූ තත්ත්වයක් තුල මේ අතිශය දුෂ්කර ව්‍යායාමය ජයගත යුතුව තිබෙනවා. මේ අකාරුණික ස්වභාවික ව්‍යසනයේට අපේ කුඩා දූපතම සසල කළ හැකි වුණත් මේ දූපතේ මිනිසුන්ගේ මනුස්සත්වය සහ අධිෂ්ඨානශීලීත්වය කිසි ලෙසකින් සසල කළ නොහැකි බව නැවත නැවතත් පසක් කොට තිබෙනවා.
ඇයන මොකුත් තිබෙන්නේ නැහැ. වවුවද උදේ බලන සම්පූර්ණ ඔක්කොම යට වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ අපේ ගෙවල් ඔක්කොම යට වෙලා උඩ තට්ටුවේ ඉන්නවා. දැන් අපි මෙතන 7 දෙනෙක් හිටියා අපි පොඩි කට්ටියත් එක්ක. ලොකු කට්ටිය තව එතන 15ක් විතර ඉන්නවා. එයාලගේ නම් ගෙවල් මේ ඔක්කොම යට වෙලා ගන්නම දෙයක් නැහැ මොකුත්.
And a Bangladesh court on Monday sentenced British MP and former Minister Tulip Siddiq to 2 years in jail in absentia in a corruption case over the alleged illegal allocation of a Dhaka land plot. Former Bangladesh PM Sheikh Hasina, Siddiq's aunt, received a 5-year sentence, while her sister Rehana was given 7 years. All three were fined $820 with an additional 6 months in jail if unpaid. Prosecutors said that 13,610 square feet plot was unlawfully allocated through political influence during Hasina's tenure and meant for a township project to ease Dhaka's housing pressure. 14 others were sentenced to 5 years. Siddique, who resigned in January as the UK's Financial Services and Anti-Corruption Minister amid scrutiny over her financial links to Hasina, has called the allegations a politically motivated smear. Reacting to the verdict, she told The Guardian the entire process was flawed, farcical and a kangaroo court ruling that should be treated with contempt. Britain has no extradition treaty with Bangladesh. Hasina, who fled to India during the 2024 uprising, was sentenced to death last month over her government's protest crackdown and received a combined 21-year term in other corruption cases last week. And after the DC attack by an Afghan national, US President Donald Trump has doubled down on his anti-immigration policies, saying that his administration's pause on processing of all asylum applications has no time limit, but it could be a long time. Trump told reporters on Sunday on Air Force One, "We have enough problems, we don't want those people," while referring to the Afghan national accused of shooting near White House. Kristi Noem, Secretary at the Department of Homeland Security, has held the previous Joe Biden administration responsible of committing an act of national self-sabotage. The department further stated that immigration requests for Afghan nationals have been suspended indefinitely. Authorities identified 29-year-old Rehman Ullah Lakanwal as the suspect in the Wednesday shooting that took place just blocks away from the White House and which killed one National Guard member and critically wounded another. After the attack, the Trump administration has taken steps to clamp down on some legal immigration, including a freeze on processing of all asylum applications.
People that shouldn't be in our country, that's right.
So you announced that asylum.
And that includes Somalians and includes plenty of others.
How long does your administration plan to pause asylum into the U.S.?
I think a long time.
Can you give any
We
kind
don't
of
want
time?
them.
What's
We
a
don't want
long
those
time?
people. We have enough problems. We don't want those people.
Is that a year, 2 years?
No time limit.
And then
But it could be a long time.
you said that
We don't want those people. Do you understand that?
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.